Welcome to Königssee in Bavaria. We're in the far southeastern corner of Germany, close to the Austrian border, at the oldest natural refrigerated ice track in the business. Ready for the start of the second heat of the women's skeleton race. Martin Haven and John Morgan trackside after a fascinating first heat.
Well, Maria Giordano never won a World Cup medal in skeleton. She's a former bobsled push athlete. She had the second best start time of the competition. She owned the start record before this race. Now she lies in third place, tied to the 100th of a second with another athlete who's never won a medal, Latvian Predadala from Latvia, and she took the first person down the track to a third best time. But the Germans, Jacqueline Lolling, 21st best start time in the competition, but boy, can she motor down the track. And the tallest athlete in the competition, like she was last week, second place into the first heat. But they're chasing this young German superstar in the making here, Tina Hermann. Missed consistent last year, never finished worse than sixth in a race. And this year's come out with a second, then a first last week in Winterberg. And here, look at her emotion. She knows she might have put down the best heat of her career, and she is in a large lead here in Königssee.
Well, Hermann is going to have to crash and give this away, not to take her second straight win after her first ever victory last week in Winterberg. It's her home track here in Königssee. She was born in Cologne, but she lives just down the road in Bischofswiesen. Maria Mazalou of Romania and Katie Tannenbaum of the Virgin Islands didn't make the cut in the first heat, so they will join the spectators on the sidelines. There's birthday girl Julia Kanakina, once more warming up at the bar as she did in her dance career as a ballet dancer before she turned to skeleton, and our World Cup champion warming up like all the other athletes. Unfortunately for Janine Flock, she'll be going off quite early in the run rather than late as we go in reverse order of the first heat performance. Bronze medal last year for this girl, Maria Oliver of Russia, but Maria will be doing well to get into the top 10 and stay there. It's going to be all about Tina Hermann. We've had two races so far this season, John. Two first-time winners, Laura Dees in Altenburg, Tina Hermann last week in Winterberg. But Hermann has left them trailing like she's pot hunting in some junior category.
Yeah, that's a tremendous amount of time to be in the lead on this track. But we've seen even the great Martins Dukars flip on his back on this track and fall from first to sixth in one of the few races he's never been on the podium. If there's ever a track that can really bite you, this is the one for sure.
It's not one they fear, but it is certainly one that they need to be careful of because, as you say, one tiny error can really put you in trouble anywhere on this track.
Last to first is how they go.
Yeah, so Tina Hermann will wait an hour to defend a huge lead here. 20 sleds in the second run, the deciding run of our third World Cup race in the women's skeleton competition, the last before Christmas. The barrier is up, the clock is running for Switzerland's Michaela Widmer, 20th in the first heat. And this former Canadian slider has a gap of 0.2 of a second to catch the tie for 18th in front of her.
5:29 in the first run, which 5:25, that's much better. 20th brink start time in the first run. Watch that entry to that first curve, that bump. You got to get out of there smooth. Now watch this. The 4 S's, they call it the snake pit, is the English translation. And these are pretty good lines here compared to her first run. And as soon as I said that, Martin, she started to bounce a little bit off the walls.
3 pressures here. You see them climb high in the second one in the Kreisel.
Boy, her feet really apart, but that's her style. She got through the doodles, as they call it, the exit of Kreisel, and that's the challenge, pivotal part of the track for a lot of people. Now you're going uphill. So this is the uphill section where no mistakes allowed going uphill. You just can't lose any more precious time. 53.65, 300's better than her first run, so that tells you the track has been spritzed, and the track still offering some quick times.
No snow on the hills around, but it's pretty cold.
Start. Watch the way she gets on with a knee. Now, the best athletes, we've seen a couple of them get on with their hips or their chest first. the launch out of the sled. Look at the feet apart. You won't see another athlete in the competition come down the track with the feet that spread apart. That's just her style. I mean, Katie Euler of the United States won a world championships, you know, number of World Cup titles also with that style, but
she goes into the leader's box. You saw the Swiss men who'll be racing tomorrow. It's Ladies' Day in Königssee today. Like in Ascot, Friday is Ladies' Day. Bromley sled for our joint 18th place finisher, Joske LeConte. So Joske from the Netherlands. And in the race here in February, she was in 7th spot at the finish line.
That was her best finish ever, and the best finish ever by a Dutch female skeleton athlete. But she started off this season not very good, as we would expect with that result she had here last year. She's fighting to 19th in the first race at Altenburg, 17th in Winterberg, and here she's back tied for 18th.
Nice exit from the S's, comes out of the Schlangengruber without getting snake bit. Ping-pongs down the bend away.
116, here's some dragging some feet, toes. That's pretty good head way up.
And she's trying to find the line to thread it through those ice walls.
Speed on the left, this is the telltale sign, the box score. If you want to keep track of that, that'll tell you everything about coming uphill. Boy, this is way better second run for Joske LeConte.
Yep.
Her best run of the season right here. 53.07. She would have put that time down in the first run. She would have been way up in 11th place.
Yep.
So 3,700's better. And this young Dutch athlete could move up. That's what we'd expect out of her. She's got a lot of experience on the track.
Still really dialing herself into the Bromley sled, but...
Watch this bang. Oh, this is normal, but does she steer away? A little right toe, the left toe, a little touch there, but whatever she did in the second run was way better than the first run.
Well, it's here. This is looking back towards the Kreisel, and a much smoother run down through that lower labyrinth.
Yeah, feet were together, and 110 kilometer speed. We'll see the best speed's 115 for the top sleds down there.
Birthday girl Julia Kanakina tied with Joske LeConte in the first heat to the 100th of a second, turns 20 today. I guess there are worse ways of spending your birthday than careering headfirst at 75 miles an hour down an ice chute. The more I say it, it sounds less likely as a birthday celebration, doesn't it?
Great athlete here. 4th best start time in the first run. Watch how quiet she jumps on this sled. Oh. And the start is awesome. 495, 499 in the first run. That would have given her the 3rd best start time, but she just hasn't figured out how to maneuver this little tray down these ice tracks, the ice canal.
Only 4 years of sliding, so she's given away experience to quite a few women in the field.
Her head is way up. 117.
Good speed.
Decent. Now watch her in the exit. Her feet are pretty good there.
Yep.
Watch her in the exit. Can she get to her without touching? Oh, barely.
Shaves the wall.
Now 110 kilometers, the next speed she wants to see.
She'll have 111. She does.
So she should pull away here. This is a much better run,
2300s up on Joske LeConte, and they were tied, don't forget, after the first heat. So this is
19.
Getting on for, well, it was getting on for 6/10 better than her first.
52.88, 5,600's better in the second run. So, you know, it's about 2 runs. There's no lets here. You got to put them both together. And this little former ballerina who shows unbelievable how flexible she is at the top of the track when she's warming up. Just a matter of time when she starts to figure out how to drive these tracks with that start, watch out Korea.
And that smile is just going to get bigger.
Yeah, she's diminutive. Real small, which makes it easier to fit in the sled. But look at the doodles, the chicanes. You know, it's 70 plus miles an hour, really low around that bend.
Bumping around, but it's Julia Kanakina who takes over the lead from Joske LeConte. So the Russian celebrating her birthday. Next up, Jacqueline Narracott from Queensland, Australia. Again, great start from her, 9th fastest getaway, and down to the labyrinth, down to the Kreisel, she was looking really good. Lower labyrinth, it all kind of came unraveled. See if she can find a way to improve her pace as well to match her rivals. Cold frost overnight, John. The track's hard and icy. It was wet, it was soft, it was giving more grip and more steering feel in training. So the first run was a real venture into the dark for a lot of them.
And here comes the 4 S's, the snake pit, or the German, the Schallengruber. But she had problems here in the first run. Not as skidding as she did. She hit and just came straight. 116 kilometer speed. Yeah, she's got that. Much better speed here in the second run. Feet apart, though.
She may have made an adjustment to her sled after the
that's
first
a lot of
heat.
sliding there. I think she just got doodled in the doodles because she was skidding sideways. You heard the noise. 110 kilometers. It's not what the Kanakina had from Russia. Going to fall at least 1, maybe 2 spots. Well, only 1 spot.
1100s behind
Still great.
Kanakina.
Hey, that's an improvement. Here she goes into the first 3 events of the year, 21st, 18th, and no worse than 18th in this race.
Yep.
Little problems exit of Kreisel. She had good speed. Here, now watch, she bangs the wall on the left, and now the sled comes sideways. All the way down through this, right here. Look at the sled turning sideways. She's trying to stay away from that wall. She almost steered too much. She might have been better off just letting it hit. It's very easy to say that, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you saw Elfie Willemsen in the blue headband watching there. She'll be racing in the women's bobsled shortly. Next up, the youngest athlete in the field, Karina Meyer from Austria. Just 19 years old, 17th fastest start, 16th at the bottom of the track. So Mickey Grunberger, her coach, has been able to teach her plenty about gliding. What are those little furry things called?
Another diminutive athlete, not very big, but how old is she? 19, 20?
Yeah.
I mean, the youth movement is on in the sport of women's skeleton. And start 5:23 in the first run, 5:20 in the second run. We saw a start record in the first run. We saw another athlete within 100th of it. So with the start track, everybody getting faster, we'll probably see a start record as this competition progresses.
Oh, good exit onto the bend away. And actually, that's a pretty good straight. This could really help her to close in a little on the lead at 117.7.
Feet together, 1 little steer, 2 right. That's a great exit there.
Here we go, and this is where the speed comes
really
from.
Good.
Straight down the middle there, no swerving around. 112.
Best speed.
How much does she close?
That ain't, she could get green numbers. With that speed, she could be in green numbers by 100.
Yay!
The speed on the bottom part of the track, Kanakina could look on and go, how did she do that to me? 2,600s down. I say that was the best exit of Kreisel we've seen in the competition other than Tina Hermann.
Other than Tina Hermann, I'll give you that, absolutely right.
This was perfect. You know, doesn't get the great start, but almost lands on her hips. She had the left knee hit first at the start. Look at the eyes. Look at the exit of the start grooves. And this is where, boy, if she would have put 2 of these together.
Yeah. That was over half a second better than her first run, and it was below the Kreisel, through the labyrinth, where she just trickled right down the middle like a stream. That was a great line.
She's got to be happy with that.
Karina Meyer is our race leader by 100th from Yulia Kanakina of Russia. 5 down, 15 to go. We're going to have an Austrian leading after this run, because Karina Meyer of Austria leads, and our World Cup champion from last season, Janine Flock from Austria, is next up on the ice here in Königssee, Bavaria.
Second in this event 2 years ago when it was the European Championships, only beaten by Canadians, so she won the European Championship. Last year, she won the overall World Cup title with winning an event. For the first time ever that an Austrian female has won a skeleton event, but she started off this year 10th and 7th, and she's back here in this placing. This is the only athlete in the second 10 besides Orlova from Russia that should be here.
Well, she was 5th in the race in January this year. 10 spots better than she was.
Look at that skid. Well, the speed, it's going to need 117 here to maintained. 118. That, look at her feet together. Little toe touch there. The exit, she can hit the left wall.
Well
No,
controlled.
nice.
Big skid down into the S's, but all the same.
Both Austrian sleds were perfect on the exit of Kreisel. 113 is the best speed.
Very good speed. Only about 3 athletes went faster in the first heat.
This is what you expect out of the female who won the World Cup title last year.
52.49.
Come on. That's 7,500 hundredths better.
That would have left her in 6th in the first heat, which is where she should have been. Now, the difference of ice between today and training days, I think, is a real problem, or was a real problem in the first heat for these women.
They weren't familiar with the speeds. It was raining all week. The ice was soft, and here we're seeing track records at the start and the finish. But this bump here, watch the sled come sideways.
It doesn't skid.
Right there it does a little bit.
Tiny bit,
right
but
there.
Not a major problem. And
then here, does she sneak out of the cross? Both Austrian sleds right down the middle. The old
bit of a slide there, but
still.
She has the lead. It's Austria 1-2. Janine Flock from Karina Meyer. Yulia Kanakina of Russia lies 3rd. Yelena Nikitina, fastest starter in the business here on this track. Brand new start record just over an hour and a half ago. Can she do it again? 4:9.0 is the mark.
Could be in the 80s. What we've seen up there in the second run so far. There it is, 4:86. Look at that, no bump. She comes through there. Head's way up though. You know, and this is the bronze medalist from the Sochi Winter Olympic Games. But we've discussed it in the first run. All 3 Russian sleds are not doing well. Good start times, they just don't have good finishes. And I think it's Willi Schneider, the German coach. He's testing equipment. He's using these events to test, to get later into the season and prepare his athletes to win world championship medals.
Much better run down the bend away, but no speed on the Kreisel.
She's going to lose it back. 110 speed if she's lucky. Oof. There, 110. Wow. Well,
3 kilometers an hour slower.
This is going to be right to the 100th. If I was the coach, I would want to look.
Could have a tie. Oh, 300s behind.
You can lose so much time coming up that hill. She had 2 kilometers less speed than Janine Flock, and she had a 1,700 lead at that spot. But on the bottom part of that track going uphill, without that speed, it's just like having an anchor on.
Well, that was nearly half a second quicker than her first run, and she still lost ground.
Start record. Look how quiet she gets on the sled. These Russian athletes know how to start the sled, and when these 2 young, diminutive size females figure out how to drive these sleds, watch out in Korea, because the start of this sport could be lethal.
She was just down there getting a big hug off Yulia Kanakina, celebrating another start record. There's Yulia. Big smiles from these 2. So, the colours of Belgium for Kim Meylemans. 12th start, 13th at the finish for the 20-year-old rookie sensation. This is her first World Cup season. Her only previous senior appearance was in the World Championships last year when she was still just 19. No. Well, this girl has not only got a winning smile, she has got so much potential for Belgian skeleton. And that's all part of it, 5:12. All the coaches say, give me a starter and I'll turn them into a slider.
Look at that good speed there. The relative average start time, less than average. That was very good start speed.
Good exit, little skid. She's going to take 1 tap. But do you remember the first heat? She ping-ponged all the way down the straight. This is leagues better. 1:19.5.
Best speed. Boy, that's up there with the best.
This track is getting quicker. That is faster than even Tina Hermann in the first heat.
And she flew out of the exit of Kreisel right down the
2 kilometers an hour quicker than Hermann managed.
16.5.
Hermann broke the track record with less speed than this. Where are we? 52.04. That is 1.14 seconds quicker.
Martin Rettel, the coach who's helping her out. Well, the track's definitely a lot faster than it was in the first run, or the athletes got used to the speed.
Yes.
Because all week long in practice, as we said, it's been soft ice, raining hard in the last day of skeleton training. 2 days ago. And look at the form. Have we seen anybody come through? Did she toe tap? Yeah, right there. That's the adjustment. But boy, was that consistent. Slingshot on the bottom part of this, on the exit of Kreisel to the bottom, and she made it look easy.
If she's ever had a better trip down here, I want to see that off tape, because that was a fantastic run from Kim Meylemans. So Belgium with the lead on a run that would have left her second in the first heat. What about Donna Crichton from Great Britain? 7th fastest start, but again, the bend away is what started to unravel her run. Can she adapt to the high speeds of race day?
Mental preparation. There's the spikes, 375 spikes, 1/16 of an inch, allows you to run across the ice. Good athlete here. Watch how quiet she gets on the sled. Look at that. Do you see that lunge? And she came down with her hips first. That's the proper lunge. But she's experienced. She might be one of the most experienced athletes in the field.
It's a kind of swallow dive, isn't it? You almost want to land chest first on it and carry that speed.
Almost like a belly flop.
Yeah. 61.8, good speed, good line.
Boy, this is where it all went bad for her last heat.
Takes a little steer there away from the wall.
So she's going to be on the wrong side. She's going to go up and down here.
Yeah, 1:16.6, 3 kilometers
way up too high. That's because she tapped me going into this curve. She sneaks out of there down 2/10.
Now, this she can't get back. She won't have the speed of Meylemans, but she could close back up. 1:11.5.
Not the speed at all.
No.
Now the question is, she could fall at least 3 places. She could be fourth. Yeah.
Wow.
6th best time of the run. Loses 3 places. She has not started the season off very well. This is an experienced slider. Good athlete.
1/10 of a second better than her first heat, which is usually a good success, but Kim Meylemans came down 1.1 seconds faster. So Donna slumped 4 places down.
Now watch her come down. Centrifugal force is going to force her back up, and she's up in no man's land where there's no other ice marks. That's too high there. So then she's got to do more steering, head up, come out of the Kreisel, hit the wall on the left, her right. She sneaks through there, but boy, she lost a lot of speed in the Kreisel. Kim Meylemans going to what she usually does, which is finish in the top 10.
Wow. For a rookie, she's having some season. Next up, Maria Oliver on the podium last year, behind winner Lizzie Arnold and second placed Anja Huber-Selbach of Germany. It was Anja's last ever World Cup podium.
14th and 12th in the first 2 races. Disappointing for an athlete who's gold medalist last year. Altenburg, bronze medal, as we said last year. But again, I think the Germans or the Russians here are testing equipment, because the Russians have got great starts. And, you know, last week at Altenburg, they finished like 13th, 15th, and 16th. And, you know, that's not what you expect out of a country who's been really, really, really good in women's skeleton.
1:16.7, 3 kilometers an hour down on Kim Meylemans, and she's behind. Meylemans that second run of hers was just a sensation.
Lightning. And this is no speed. I think this is equipment. I think if we look at Willie Schneider, the coach, I think he's just going to shake his head like, this is equipment. They're testing equipment here. 4th best time of the run, so all...
Look at Meylemans. She's having the time of her life. Maria Oliver started this run 2800s in front of Kim Meylemans, ended up 6/10 behind.
Yeah, she dropped 3 more places, so the Russians are now in, you know, they're going to finish out of the top 10 again.
Yeah.
And where they have the best starts. It's not bad lines. This is, you know, let's just mark it down. I bet you after Christmas we start seeing some better Russian results out of all 3 of these athletes, because they get great starts, single-digit starts. There they are, there's the 3 of them. I bet you they all improve second half of the season.
10 down, 10 to go. Kim Meylemans, with a smile as wide as the valley here, is leading with the top 10 still to come.
Wow. Interesting story here down the Lake Königssee down here. The beautiful setting. And somebody was swimming around there this summer, and they found a gold bar, which is worth about $50,000 US. And
kilo of gold.
it's sort of created a little bit of interest in what else is in the bottom of this deep mountain lake that's 200-300 feet deep.
And the reason they found it is because this is the cleanest lake in Europe. The launch you can see down there, all the tourist launches since the 30s have been electrical powered, so that there is no water from engines going through, or no engine filth in the lake. So that they weren't diving. They were actually swimming on the surface and saw down at the bottom. All right, not several hundred feet down, but it... Yeah, now the local government here are trying to get it classified as a national treasure trove, so that if somebody goes down there and finds kilo after kilo of gold, then they don't get to keep it all.
There's our leader.
Yeah.
Look at this. There's the mountain that one of the curves is named after, Kelstein.
That's the Kelstein, indeed.
Kelstein, which is the big curve after the Doodles, the big sweeping left. And boy, the setting here is unbelievable. I mean, there's nothing more picturesque. And up on top is behind us is the Eagle's Nest. And if you ever get a chance to tour here, wow. It's in the summer times when you want to come. That's when the Eagle's Nest is open. And
come down and take a ride on the steamer as well on the lake, the Königssee, the King's Lake, the Royal Lake. That's what gives this area its name.
Nice little bar and restaurant right down below the track that we had dinner at last night. And there's the setting, what you see here, Bavaria. I mean, you know, Berchtesgaden is like 3-4 miles away. Got the Christmas Bazaar going on over there. Just really, if I can say, spectacular setting one more time. They really know how to do it here. And the Germans, needless to say, are really the dominant country in the sliding sports, and they really know how to present the sliding sports, that's for sure. And
this is the first of our 2 visits here this year as well, uniquely. So away we go with our 11th starter. Kendall Wesenberg of the USA was 10th after the first heat.
She just drifted big time. Oh, big hit there in the curve 1, too. Didn't have a very good start in the first run, but great downtime. 19th best start in the first run. So she's going to have some perfect lines down here to maintain her spot. It's down to 200s.
Little toe steer. They normally have toe glue on the
big high there. 117.8's not
good
bad,
speed,
but it's
not Meylemans speed.
Not Meylemans speed. Red
So
numbers
in the red. She is, but not by much.
She did not get through there smooth like Meylemans. Kid Meylemans, this will be her best finish ever. She's going to move up at least 1 from 13th into the 9th position. So she's got an 11th, she's got a 10th, and now she's got her best finish ever, 9th in that.
All right, and Kendall Wesenberg drops 5 spots.
But it's okay, it's her rookie year.
Now that's the first athlete who's actually come down slower in their second heat. Only 300s.
Her whole problem was at the start. She got out of those start grooves, drifted to the left side of our screen, her right. Then down here, she didn't have, you know, this is good technique, good form, good speed. To this point, this is a toe touch, just, you know, little rudder, a little high there, and watch. Now, she comes through the Doodles, not clean. There's the first hit. Then she comes over, a couple more hits.
I think she was just scaring the wall there rather than actually hitting it hard.
Much better first run than the second.
Kim Meylemans, luckily wrapped up warm now. She may be in the leader's box a while. She has she set the second fastest run we've seen on the track all day. Exactly.
Would have been the track record before the race started.
Yes, now that's a good point as well. Annie O'Shea of the USA. Well, the 2 American girls were 9th and 10th. Kendall Wesenberg in 10th, Annie O'Shea in 9th.
Well, this is a big reach for her not to be the leader here. She's got a 4400ths lead. Experienced slider, and she's going for her best finish of the year, maybe in the last couple years. For Annie O'Shea. I don't know if she never has a World Cup medal.
A couple of top 10s last season.
Good start.
Yep. A little quicker than the previous, 5:04.
Hard hit, though, into curve 1. She didn't get in. She got that takeout a little early. 62 speed there is decent.
Yep.
It's 38 miles an hour. How does she get through the snake pit? Bang. Does she slide? So 117 high is good speed. 118.
That's good.
Now she has to exit down here. She's had problems down here in the past. We saw her fly off her sled one year, and She gets through there, not bad. Half-second lead. Now the next side, 111. Yeah, almost 112. Should be the leader. Should lose some time. Oh, no. Spoke too quick.
And that could be enough
That
to
could
take
be
it away.
enough.
Meylemans will lead, sure.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Boy, did she throw that away at the bottom.
Wow.
She had everything going for her on the bottom, and then maybe it was down in the Kelstein curve.
Yeah, if the track was a couple of corners shorter, she'd be our race leader.
And if it wasn't, it was an uphill section. She lost everything. 4,600ths lead out of Exeter Kreisel, and here, a couple touches, but
yeah, no, good run down the bend away. Avoids the walls, avoids skids.
yeah, and then here which side does she come on? She's right down the middle. Oh, there. That little
away.
energy right there is what. Boy, going uphill. You go uphill like that, Martin, you make a mistake. Ooh, it compounds 2 or 3 times.
That's how you slow down when you're skiing it. See it, feel it, trust it, says Elizabeth Vache's sled. Mum Rita is at the top. Her dad, just talking to him between the heats. He's down at the bottom. So Elizabeth Vache looking for a bit of redemption here. Started 12th fastest, but 8th at the bottom of the track. She's been feeling the pressure here, starting the World Cup season away from North American home ice. She gets to go home after a weekend in Dublin next week with her dad.
Great speed down the middle part of the track. Her problem was the exit of Kreisel into the Doodles. This is a very good slider on the high-speed part of the track, but she's going to need to exit the Kreisel, which she didn't do in the first run smoothly.
This could be the run that puts Kim Meylemans out of the leader's box. Elizabeth Vache looking
This is really good. Should be 118. She had good second-best speed. 119 this time.
That's quicker than Meylemans.
This is her problem though right here. Now she's going to lose everything.
Hermann at 75 miles an hour.
If she doesn't have it, here's 110. She's going to lose it all back. Uphill, she's going to look finished at 12. Meylemans is going to beat her too.
Oh my goodness, this could be close to a tie. Who's going to be in front? 2 tenths back. How much energy out of that wall.
If the race ended in the Exeter Kreisel, Elizabeth Vache would win.
Yeah.
Right now, 2 for 2. She could not get through the exit of Kreisel.
I'll tell you what, that shoulder is going to be seriously bruised. 75 miles an hour into a blow on a concrete wall covered in ice.
But she does. She can get speed. She had it right here. 119, too. I mean, that was the second best speed in the first run she had. And here, got away from her right there. Look how high she got on that mark. Look at this. Now she's got to steer down, and she steered down too early. And no rhythm. And then here, well, I watched the curve just eat her up.
Well, she survived the lower labyrinth, but that hit with the wall, that really hurt metaphorically as well as physically. Sophia Griebel then, for Germany, the first of our 3 German girls, all tucked up nicely in the top 7. Of course, she would have liked to have been 3rd behind her teammates rather than 7th, but let's see what the Oberhof girl can produce here.
5:14 in the first run, should be 5:9, 5:10. 13. Everybody else improved 2 or 3 400s. Oh, look at the way she came down the right side of that straightaway without that hitting that bump. That could be some local knowledge. We'll see. Look at her feet together, perfect. Exit, head pretty much down. But we've seen half-second leads before deteriorate. Kreisel, not great speed, but she gets through here clean. She could be the leader. That's not bad. Boy, she's going to really have to do something wrong down here not to be the leader. 114 is good speed.
I think this is the leader's time.
Yeah, you'd expect that. She might be ahead by 14 or 1500s here, but she's the leader.
Not by much. Gaps coming down 2 tenths.
Okay, Kim, nice run.
52.36. Kim Meylemans came down 52.04. Still plenty to worry about for Sophia Griebel. She's got the lead now.
Run.
Yeah.
Belgian girl had, huh?
As you say, 52.04 in, oh no, 300s away from the old start record. Sophia Griebel has the lead though.
Well, the exit here, head down, a lot of confidence there, but boy, did she have to steer too much to get, these are perfect lines, but she lost a lot back on the bottom.
Well, as you said, Kim Meylemans will be no worse than 8th after a 9th and a 10th. That's the first 3 races in her World Cup career, Meylemans. She's got a big future. So too might Laura Dees, our first race winner of the season, lies 2nd in the World Cup standings.
Had some problems on the exit of Kreisel herself in the first run, or she'd be challenging for medals. Watch out here if she puts it all together. 4th best start in the first run. This is one of the top athletes in the field. So 4.99 first run, knowing the athlete she is, she should be better.
Now, what kind of a run does she get through that little first dink?
Yeah, she goes to the middle, does not take a big bump, like we've seen a lot of athletes. 62.3 is decent. And let's see how she gets through the S's that we call the snake pit.
You come straight into the action here, don't you? It's not the slow start that you see in a lot of
She's
tracks.
dragging a little bit there. 118 would be decent speed.
33.
Oh, no speed at all, which means she needs perfect exit here. She doesn't get perfect, she's not going to be the leader. The question is, how many spots is she going to fall? No speed. She might have the 7th or 8th ranked speed here. She might fall 4 or 5 places.
That is the lowest speed in the second heat, bar none.
11th best time of the run, falls 4 places. Wow. Laura Dees, well, of all she can do to stay here, top 7 or 8, she won't beat it.
No. So she is in 5th place with 5
top 10.
So her season, 1st, 4th, 10th.
Well, she could beat somebody else here, but no speed. Here's the skidding. Look at her toe out.
Yeah.
And then once she gets on the right side of your screen, you want to be on the other side to get her the Kreisel. Then this is where you erase everything. Here, when you come out early like that, her head's way up. And no speed in the Kreisel. Surprise, because she was really good in Altenburg when she won.
There's your leader, Sophia Griebel of Germany. One of our race winners this season has just dropped behind her. What about last week's podium finisher? Sophia Griebel leads, but at the top of the ice is Jane Channel of Canada. Jane Channel for Canada. 3rd last week, her first ever World Cup medal. The podium is some 0.08 of a second in front of her. This is where we're now looking at medals being won or lost. Sophia Griebel, our current leader, 3300ths out of the medals in the first heat. I'm not sure she's going to make it, but a really good start from Jane Channel.
4.98. She had 4.95 in the first run, though, and good glide down the track. Didn't have as many problems as her teammate did.
That's a good run down the bend away as well. Not too much steering going on. Oh, no. Puts her back on
No
the
speed. 116 kilometers. Gonna need to get out of here without hitting the left side of the screen. That's way up. That's a lot of time, but if she doesn't have 110 kilometer speed down here, she might fall. Ooh.
This should put her into the lead, but will it get
No,
her the medal?
it will not. Red numbers next clock.
My goodness.
There it is.
Sophia Griebel hangs on. Jane Channel,
1400s. Yeah, when you don't have the speed in Kreisel, she only had 116. She had a half-second lead going in. How many tracks do we do commentary on where you have a half-second lead and half the people can't hold it? More than half.
Well. Now, is the track giving up speed anymore?
No, I just don't think she had a good
High
entry.
first pressure and the second
Way up.
pressure
Watch her
right
come
up
way
to
up.
the woodwork.
Way up. And that's a lot of steering, and she got to steer back down. Watch her angle down. Watch the angle come down. Centrifugal force bring her back up, but she can't sneak out of there without touching the right.
And the other thing, when you're that high above the polished area, is you're up in the frost as well, and that slows you down.
It's like opening up your freezer and your refrigerator and go, I got to defrost this place. That's what it looks like up there.
Sofal leads. 4 to go. We had a tie for the bronze medal, and the two athletes who tied in the first heat have never won a World Cup medal. The first of whom is Switzerland's Marina Giordani.
Second best start in the first run. And she owned the start record before today.
4.90 is the record, 4.93.
So the start track seems to get a little slower. Look, she came down that right side of that straightaway perfectly. 62.5 speed's excellent. She got a huge lead, but we've seen these huge leads just deteriorate.
Wow! That's what you need to get medals.
118 speed. We need the speed.
190, 187.
One last albatross for her right here in the exit. She's got to come out in the middle.
Come on, Marina, there's a lot of Swiss fingers crossed for you, and that's a really nice run down through the lower labyrinth.
She's toiled third year of the sport. She came from bobsledding. This could be her first medal ever. Yes.
Half a second up and more. She's got
this celebration for her.
But still 3 to come. 52.27. Yes, there's Marco Rohrer. He'll be racing tomorrow in the men's race.
Swiss medal in skeleton in a number of years.
Not yet. Still 3 athletes to come, but that is the run that could get her in the medals. That really, look at her.
She's beside herself. Her best finish ever, no matter what. I think she.
Yes. Like Tina Hermann in the first run, she nailed that, and she knows it.
So the speed's still there. We saw that in Kreisel. But their start, she's the second best starter. Powerful. Different build than the other athletes who are equal with her at the start.
Bobsledding double junior world champion brakewoman.
Well, it's her best finish ever. I said too early it's guaranteed a medal. I forgot that there was a tie for third.
Well, what a fairy story it would be if the women that tied for third in the first heat tied for a medal as well, because Marina Giordani's never had one, nor has Lauda Pregelena of Latvia.
What a great run she had in the first heat. She's going to give up a lot of time here at the start, though. So history in the making. Latvians are going to win their first medal, or the Swiss at the bottom.
5.04, she's done it 5.16 in the first heat. You heard her yelping, and she was getting ready to go. How fired up she is.
She had great lines down the track. She's had a great start to the season, too.
And another brilliant exit onto the bendaway, and this is what put her in the top 3 in the first heat. Great driving. 191.
Best speed. If she gets out of here clean, she's going to get green numbers here pretty quick. She's clean.
I want to see a tie for the lead between these two girls.
112, high 112 speed, only 100. This is going right to the 100th.
She's not going to get close enough.
I don't know.
Carey's coming down, but Marina Giordani had better speed. 400. First Marina takes her first medal.
Still, the best result ever for this young Latvian athlete who's had some start to the season. 5th in Altenburg, 6th in Winterberg, 4th here. Boy,
not quite enough. She knows
personal
there's a
best.
little error in the Kreisel.
She's never done better than this in her career. So the Latvians showing some promise now in women's skeleton, as they are in men's skeleton, as they are in men's bobsled. The lines were great. She got beat at the start.
She drove so well in that second heat, like in the first.
Best finish.
And that's the consistency. That is the holy grail for these sliders. Not one good run. One good run is okay. 2 good runs. So Marina Giordani, Lauda Pregelena, Sofia Griebel. That's your top 3. 2 to go. Jacqueline Lerling of Germany in the silver medal position after the first heat, but only 600ths clear of Marina Giordani of Switzerland, who was behind her in third and currently leads. 600ths?
She's going to give up.
That's between now. That's eternity of a second.
An eternity of time here at the start. She's going to be 21st best start, and she's second at the bottom. She is the queen of speed. very much like Marion Thies, the former German track record holder on this track, who won the World Championships 2011, had the worst start in the competition, but broke all the track records at the bottom. She is a glider, and she's going to need to glide.
Skids, hits the wall, and again, and she's going to be offline into the Kreisel.
119 speed, though. Watch the way she exits, and she comes clean. 26, I don't know.
Down from 42 to 26. Giordani had 112.3.
150. She could do it. She could.
Insane speed.
She's got it. Wow, this girl can glide. And this is for
track
the lead.
Not quite. 51.90. Marina Giordani will be on the podium. Jacqueline Lerling has the lead with 1 to go.
If she had a start time, nobody touches. The tallest, heaviest girl in the competition. Got a little bit of the same instinct as Lizzie Arnold, but Lizzie Arnold has a much better start. The Olympic champion Lizzie Arnold taking a year off. The world champion, she is too. But this young 19-year-old.
Yeah, I want to see these girls racing against Lizzie and Noelle Piker's pace. What a race that would be.
Yeah, they're all similar builds.
Yeah, close.
Look at the just hitting the feet. Again, she's the tallest athlete in the competition by a lot.
20
no start time.
Wow, what a future she's got as well if she stays fit.
What a speed merchant she is.
Yes, she is. But so too is Tina Hermann. First time win in her World Cup career a week ago. And now she's on home ice. She's our World Cup points leader. Hermann has had a silver and a gold so far this year. And she leads by 64 hundredths after the first of our 2 heats.
Well, if it's her race to lose, she made the rest of the field look very slow. 11th best start, normal for her. She's a speed merchant herself. In fact, she was so fast, she broke the track record that's been around for 4 years. And she hasn't touched the wall yet. That's expected. She only hit once. She only hit once coming down that straightaway. 120 speed. She's in a class by herself.
She broke this track record in the first heat, and she's pulling away. This is going to break the record again.
She might be challenging in the men's field.
51.63 is the track record.
Ridiculous.
2 track records perhaps. Tina Hermann is going to win her second race. That's a sensation. The track record this morning was 52.01. She has lowered it by 6 seconds.
How can they keep going faster on these tracks? The athletes, the equipment, they just... That's 6/10. The record's been around for 4 years.
Since 2011's World Championships.
4 years and a half.
Yeah.
Almost 5. I think it's a little coming out party for her this year. This is the star German skeleton right here.
Well, she thought she nailed the first run. This is more nailed, if that's a thing. Just another day at the office for Tina Hermann. Man, oh man.
She barely touched the wall.
She's barely going to touch the ground now.
When you're that consistent, but like you said, I wish Lizzie Arnold was in the field, but she just won by over a second. This is a sport timed to hundreds of seconds.
For a very good reason.
And this she wins by a second.
Yep. Didn't quite double her first round advantage, but she broke the track record again.
Everybody's hitting 2 or 3 times there. She tapped once. Look at her feet. Anybody can look at she one toe steer.
And the speed she's got into the Kreis allows her to keep the perfect line. You're right.
She's a video game. She's a little bit like that guy we're going to see tomorrow, Martins Ducars.
Well, while you talk amongst yourselves, I'm looking in my folder to find out what the men's track record is.
Tina Hermann just blows away the field. Look at the second. If you go from a 113, you have to go down 7 places before those places are separated by a 7th.
And look at Kim Meylemans, 7th place. What a run from her. The second fastest on the track.
The Russians 12, 13 and 17. Wow.
Tough race again for the Russian girls, but a second win for Tina Hermann. Wow. Well, her first win in Winterberg, which is close to her hometown, or where she was born in Cologne, but she now is based down here in Bischofswiesen, just down the road from Königssee. And Tina Hermann, man oh man, the Bavarian resident has produced a stunning race. 51.41 will probably leave her that run somewhere in the top 10 in a men's race. So it's quite an impressive performance. And second place for Jacqueline Lurling, a first ever World Cup medal with the bronze for Marina Giordoni of Switzerland. Huge day for her. Fourth, Lelda Priedulena of Latvia, just 400s away from her first ever World Cup medal. Sophia Griebel in fifth and Jane Channel in sixth position. But the big run in the second heat, Kim Meylemans of Belgium. Phenomenal performance in her second run. And only two women were able to go closer, and they finished 1-2. So a stunning effort from Kim Meylemans, the Belgian girl. This is her first ever World Cup season, don't forget. She only raced in the World Championships last year in Winterberg. That was the first time we'd seen her at senior level. So Meylemans really producing the goods in the second heat.
But a pretty historic day. There's a lot of personal bests out there.
Yeah.
I mean, the Latvian girl is just every week has impressed us this first 3 weeks. And she's obviously getting a lot of tips from that Ducars camp.
Well, last year she was in such a slump, Lelda Priedulena, after coming out a couple of seasons ago really well. And then suddenly the form is right there, and she is a threat every time she gets on the ice. And that's what every athlete wants, to be a contender. Because eventually, when you knock on the door long enough, it'll come. Königssee in Bavaria, third race stop on the Women's Skeleton World Cup Tour. 2 straight wins for Tina Hermann, and the silver medal mean that she is now our points leader ahead of Jacqueline Lurling, who takes the silver medal here. Laura Dees, who won the first round of the series, has dropped to third place in the World Cup standings. Last year's champion Janine Flock languishing in 9th spot ahead of our top Russian Yelena Nikitina. But today was all about coming home. The coming out party for Tina Hermann. She won her first World Cup medal in Winterberg in Hochsauerland, and she doubles up with a stunning victory and 6/10 improvement in track record over 2 runs to win on home ice here in Bavaria.
Last year she finished no worse than 6th in any race of the year, finished 2nd World Cup points. Now she has definitely put herself in a position to dominate the World Cup and maybe the World Championships.
And in the black jacket, Marina Giordoni of Switzerland, her first ever World Cup medal. There's Jacqueline Lurling in second position, as she was last week, and Tina Hermann wins again. Double victories to go into the Christmas-New Year break. So a newcomer on the podium again for the 3rd time this season. We've got noobs on the podium. Fantastic result, well done indeed to Tina Hermann, to Jacqueline Lurling, and to Marina Giordoni. That's it from the Women's Tour. We rejoin the women after Christmas. Lake Placid starts our North American leg. We'll see you then.